Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Salty Ginger Talk. If you're a returning listener, we're glad to have you back. If you're new to the channel, we hope you like what you hear. So, our podcast is for people that want to learn something new or make themselves a little bit better every day. So, in our episode today, we were thinking about it with Thanksgiving just in the rearview mirror and New Year's and Christmas fast approaching. It's about time for people that like to make resolutions. So, we're going to talk today about how to audit your life. And so, what we mean by that is, we think it's important to, on a regular basis, take a look at what it is you've got going in your life and whether they are the things or activities that you're focused on are the things and activities you want to be focused on, or if they're not, how do you change your life so that you are focused on the goals and things that you want to be focused on. So when we talk about auditing our life, we want to take a comprehensive look. We're not talking about just personally. We're not talking about just professionally. We're not talking about just health wise. We're kind of talking about the whole shoot and match. So you want to really inspect all the different aspects of your life on a regular basis. Minimum once a year. We would argue it's probably monthly or quarterly is a better way to go. And we don't do a great job of this, by the way. This is one of the things that we were thinking about on our own personal life and saying, we need to do a better job of staying on top of these things and measuring our results on a more frequent basis to make sure we're focused on the things we want to be career, relationships, health, finances, personal growth. And so, where are you on all of those things? Are you where you want to be? And if you're not, what are you doing about it behind the life audit? So, with that said, let's just jump into some of the key areas that you should look at. So, we kind of listed them out, but you want to like write these down, list them out. And we talked about this before. Writing things down is a better way to get them to stick in your head than typing them into a spreadsheet or a Word document or notes on your phone. Makes your brain think about the words that you're putting on the paper very differently than if you're typing them on a keyboard. And so the physical act of writing them down is actually a really important part of this. You can transfer them to a different format later, but if you write them down, they're going to stick in your head differently. Transfer them to an organization app, transfer them to a spreadsheet, transfer them to a Word, however you do it, doesn't matter. But the first step should be actually physically writing them down. So just list the categories: career, health, relationships, finances, hobbies, personal development, community involvement. So those are some suggestions that you can use. The good news is you get to pick what these are. It's your life. You own it. You want to take control of it. So you get to pick the major categories where you want to focus your time and energy and efforts. So that's step one. Step two calls for some self-reflection. So for each area, ask yourself about your current level of satisfaction. And this is terribly important. It's hard to believe we have to say this, but we know we do. You got to be honest with yourself. Don't pretend things are good when they're not. Don't excuse things away. Don't make excuses for things that you're not happy with. You've got to be honest about them if you're going to confront them. So list them out and then say, hey, how happy am I? How satisfied am I with this particular aspect of your life? Maybe your personal relationships are going really well, but your career is stagnant. Maybe your career is going really well, but your personal relationships are stagnant. Whatever, it doesn't matter. What matters is you honestly assess your level of satisfaction in each of these areas. And almost as important is what needs to improve. Like, what do you want to change about each area of your life? Because you have a lot of control over those areas of your life if you choose to take it. And that's what a life audit will help you do, is to take control of areas of your life that are important to you. So, like we talked about, rate your satisfaction. And then next, do a little visualization. What does your perfect life look like? And we would caution you on this because the easy default is I want to go lay on a beach and drink Mai Tais while money pours into my bank account. It's actually not true. So while that sounds good in theory, people are happiest when they're growing personally, professionally, mentally, physically, when they're pursuing a goal, when they're pursuing a task, they're happier. So it's actually not what you want. It seems like what you want. Think about the last time you laid around on the couch and binge watched a show on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and think about how you felt after. It's really not fulfilling. It's really not satisfying. Is it nice to take a break every once in a while? Sure, it is. But that's not what your ideal life actually looks like. And don't limit yourself when you do this visualization. Don't say, well, if I could just make a little more money, what do you really want? And it doesn't have to be money. What do you really want in the world? Maybe you want to be in a good, committed relationship with a person you really care about. That's a great goal. That's a great goal. It has nothing to do with money. Maybe you want to get more involved in your community and be active in charities. That's a great goal too. It's got nothing to do with money. Maybe you want to be stinking rich and you want to make as much money as possible. That's okay too. It's up to you. You've got to choose what's important to you and where you want to focus your time and efforts. So it's really important to be honest about where you are and honest about where you want to be. So we read a book one time called "What Gets You Here Won't Get You There," and it essentially talks about as you move up in businesses. And we read this book because we kept moving up, and your role changes as you move up in a business. You go from an individual contributor to managing people and teams and bigger projects, and et cetera, et cetera. And the skills and abilities that got you into that position are not necessarily the skills and abilities you need to be successful in that position. And in that book, they talked about what motivates people. And they boiled it down to one of four things motivates people: money, power, recognition, or popularity. And we said, oh, shoot, that's real easy for us. Like for us, we want control. We want power. We want control of our own life. I know it motivates me. I want to have control of my own destiny. I want power over my life. The best way I have found to get power over my life is to control the situations that I'm in. And if other people happen to be involved in those, got it, no problem. But my goal is not power over other people. My goal is power over my own life. So think about that when you envision your ideal life. What does it really look like to you? And what motivates you to go after it? There's no right or wrong answers. We're all motivated differently. I would argue that, if you're really into recognition and likes on social media or how you're perceived by other people, I don't think that's a real healthy place to be. You can't control how other people view you. You can't control how other people react to you. You do have control over what you do. You do have control over how you react to situations that present themselves to you. But chasing validation from exterior sources rarely leads to happiness. You look at all the movie stars, rock stars, athletes who do those things and wind up in bad relationships or with substance abuse problems or with financial problems because they're spending money trying to make people impressed or feel happy with them. Not a good place to be. So whatever your goals and ambitions are, they need to be intrinsic within you, coming from what you actually want. That's where you should be looking for validation, and that's where you should be looking for satisfaction, is internally. And then once you've envisioned that, set specific goals. And we did an episode previously on how to set goals, and we call them SMART goals. SMART is an acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So those are goals that have finite goals times measurable results. And if you're going to set goals, you may as well set them right. Because if you just say, I want to be a better husband. Okay, great. What does that mean? How are you going to be a better husband? Is it more time? Is it taking over different aspects of household responsibilities or financial responsibilities or childcare responsibilities to ease the burden on your spouse? Whatever it is, you got to be specific about it. It's got to be measurable. It's got to be achievable. It's got to be realistic. It's got to be time bound. So when you're putting these goals together, make sure they're those things. If you can't answer those questions, what exactly am I trying to accomplish? By when am I trying to accomplish it? Is it reasonable to try to accomplish it by then? And does it have a deadline? So think about that when you're setting goals, because it's very, very important. Next, analyze strengths and weaknesses. Identify your personal strengths and weaknesses that can help you achieve your goals or that can hinder you from achieving your goals, and come up with a plan to either minimize or eliminate the things that won't help you and maximize how you use the strengths that will help you. So play to your strengths is the way to go on this. So Tiger Woods, great golfer, and he struggles with, I don't know if struggles is the right word. He doesn't like playing out of the sand. And all the aspects of his golf game, the sand is the worst aspect of his golf game. So we've spent all sorts of time and effort on sand shots. And he finally said, you know what? I'm just going to not hit it in the sand as much as possible. That's a good way to go. Because if you don't like hitting it out of there and it's the weakest part of your game, don't let it come in. So same thing in your life. Don't put yourself in situations where you rely on the weakest aspects of your personality or your skill set to make you successful, because it's not a good way to go. And from there, you create an action plan. And an action plan is concrete steps. Let's say that you want to lose, or whatever, 20 pounds by June. Okay, what are you doing? Start with nutrition, right? Because nutrition is 80 to 85% of weight loss or weight maintenance. And what are you going to change about your nutrition? Maybe it's eliminating soda. Maybe it's limiting fast food to once a week. Maybe it's limiting salty snacks or ice cream or brownies or whatever it is that is your thing. You're going to limit that to once a week and be specific about it. And that's an action plan that's going to help you achieve your goals. It's just not, I'm going to eat anything I want, but I'm going to really manage my calories. That's not realistic. That really rarely happens. And it's not a good play. You're setting yourself up for failure if you're that wishy-washy on your plans or your objectives. We're not saying you got to just eat carrots and suck ice cubes to lose weight, but we all know foods that are good for us. We all know foods that are not good for us, and we're aware when we're eating both. And so if we're going to put a plan together that's going to help us achieve our goal, that goal is going to be achieved by consistent action over a long period of time. There is no, you didn't gain 50 pounds overnight. You're not going to lose 50 pounds overnight. So that action plan has to be concrete steps that you're going to follow over a consistent period of time to help you get to where you want to be. And so while you're doing this, there's some important questions to think about as you're going through this. Like, how satisfied are you with your current career path? Do you like what you do? Do you not like what you do? Be honest with yourself about that. Do you need to make a change in not only jobs, but vocations? Maybe you are a mathematics teacher and you hate being a mathematics teacher and you'd rather be a plumber or do something in the trades because it gets you out of the inside environment, lets you be your own boss. And I'm making stuff up, but that's doable. But you have to put a plan together to achieve it. And without a plan, you're just sitting and hoping and wishing, and that rarely leads you to a place that's good for you. How are my relationships with family and friends? That's a good one too. Like, do you have strong relationships? Are you a good communicator? Are you there for them when they need you? Are they there for you when you need them? What is it you want out of those relationships? Like, it's important to audit those things and be honest about them, and then set goals and plans and communicate those goals and plans in a fact-based, unemotional way so that they're well received by the person you're trying to further your relationship with. Attacking them or accusing them, even if they've done things that are sketchy in the past, not helpful. Not helpful. So you really want to focus on moving forward, not what happened in the past. If you need to talk about stuff, fine, but talk about it in a productive way without name calling, without losing your temper, without getting emotional, and stay fact-based. Be specific about what your grievances are. And you got to be willing to forgive people too. People make mistakes. If someone is genuinely sorry, forgive them and move on. Let it go. You got to learn to let that stuff go. Are you happy with your current health and fitness level? If you are, great. If you're not, what are you doing about it? Right? Can you go for walks? Can you go for bike rides? Can you kayak? Can you garden? There's lots of things you can do that increase your level of physical activity and your level of health and fitness. Maybe it's stretching. Maybe you start with stretching. Maybe you do yoga. Maybe you want to really ramp up and become an Olympic level athlete and you really want to take your workouts to a crazy high level. All of those are fine, but you have to be honest about what it is you want out of your life. And if you do those things and you put plans together, you can achieve those things. Might not happen as fast as you want, because consistent action and consistent effort generally gets you where you want to be. It's rare to make quantum leaps from where you are to some great area or great spot. It's way more about consistency in the little things you do every day than it is big grand gestures, call it. Do you feel financially secure? If not, right, there's only two ways to change make more, spend less, right? Do you have things that you spend money on that are wasteful? Maybe you go out to bars a lot and it'd be a lot cheaper to stay home and have a drink or two there because you cut the cost down by 60, 70%. Maybe you travel a lot and that's important to you, but you could stay at less expensive hotels or on the, like I call it, the raise the bridge, lower the water. If there's a flood coming, there's two ways to avoid the bridge washing out. First one's to raise the bridge. That's revenue. Can you bring in more revenue? Can you make your bridge higher? The second one is to lower the water, which is cut costs. And so if you look at both of those things and look for ways to increase your revenue and cut your costs, that's the best way to get to a spot where you feel financially secure. What activities bring me joy and fulfillment outside of work? What do you like doing? What do you enjoy? It's okay, whatever it is, as long as it's not illegal and you're not hurting anybody while you're doing it. But whatever it is, why don't you do more of it? Why don't you incorporate it into your day? Why don't you incorporate it into your schedule? Set a goal to do whatever that activity is on a regular basis. What personal development goals do I want to pursue? Look, this is wide open. How do you want to become a better person? How do you want to become better professionally? How do you want to become better in personal relationships? How do you want to become better in volunteering or community activism? Or there's lots of things to do. You get to choose on what you focus on. And so choose it. Don't be passive and just ride the wave of life. Be deliberate about what you spend your time and effort on, because it will lead you to a place that you want if you're deliberate about it. Next, what are my biggest regrets and how can I learn from them? So think back on things that didn't go the way you wanted, opportunities that you wish you would have taken advantage of, things you did that you wish that would have turned out differently, and what do you learn from those situations? What do you learn from those experiences? We say it a lot, there is no good or bad, there's only outcomes. If you liked the outcome you got, continue to take the steps you took to deliver that outcome. If you didn't like the outcome that you got, take different steps. So don't label it good or bad. Don't label it success or failure. You've got to learn that things happen in life. Sometimes, even if, let's say something went really bad and you were 100% responsible for it. Okay? Now what do? You can wallow in your sorrow and pity. You can deconstruct it over and over again and obsess about all the things you would have done differently. Or you could take a left-brained, logical view and say, hey, I really screwed the pooch on this one. What did I do wrong? How did I go so wrong? And identify the things that you did wrong so that you don't do them again. And then you can apply those learnings to future activities, to future chances, to future opportunities, and avoid those mistakes and really build a life that you want to live. We say it a lot. Experience is something you get right after you need it. And that sucks, but there's only one way to get experience, and that's to do stuff. Sometimes you do stuff and it goes really well. Sometimes you do stuff and it does not go really well. But either way, you learn from that activity and you can apply those learnings to future activities and opportunities to give yourself a better chance of success. So with all that said, what are some of the benefits of conducting a life audit? One is increased self-awareness. You get a deeper understanding of your priorities and values. What's important to you? Like, it'll help you take a hard look in the mirror and say, am I the person I want to be? And if not, what am I doing about it? That's tremendously important. Next, improve focus. If you prioritize your goals and start taking action towards them, you're going to start to become more focused on those things. Next, improve focus. So prioritizing goals and taking action towards them helps us improve our focus on the things that are important to us. Like we've talked about, it is consistent action that gets us where we want to be, not quantum leaps. It's rare to do one thing and have it just change our lives immediately. But if we take consistent action over a long period of time, we can accomplish amazing stuff. And by doing the life audit, it will help you focus on the things that are important to you, which will help you consistently take action on those things, which will help you achieve them. So that's super useful as well. Enhanced decision making, very similar to what we just talked about. When you're focused on what's important to you, it's easy to make decisions because you can assess a situation or an opportunity and say, hey, is this helping me get towards my goals? Is it productive? Is it useful? Will I enjoy it? If not, don't do it. Like, if you don't have to do it, don't do it. Some things you have to do. work things. There's some family obligations, those types of things that even if you don't want to do them, you know they're important. You should do them. But other than that, like it'll help you with decision making because you can say, this doesn't get me where I'm trying to go, doesn't contribute, it's off the table. And saying no is a very powerful thing. A lot of people won't say no. I have no problem with it. But saying no is a very powerful thing. No, I don't want to do that. Nope, doesn't work for me. I'm out. It's a great thing. So doing the life audit will help you make better decisions and quicker decisions. And finally, reduce stress. We put this in our newsletter today that action is the cure for anxiety because anxiety generally comes when you don't know what the outcome of a situation is going to be. When you start taking action, you start working towards an outcome, it clears up, excuse me, clears up the view of that situation and allows you to feel better about it. It removes the anxiety because you start to see how things are going to play out and you feel better about it. So all of those are benefits of conducting a life audit. Like we said, every 3 months, you should do this at minimum every 3 months. We suggest monthly, but every 3 months at a minimum. So yeah, hope you found that helpful, guys. James puts it up here every day. Don't forget to check out our website, saltygingertalk.com. All of our podcast episodes are available there. All of our links to our social media content is available there. And we do a newsletter. We publish a newsletter every weekday, and you can subscribe to that newsletter on our website. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel on whatever platform you consume it on. Really appreciate your support. Hope everyone has a great week, and we will see you next time.